Hello everyone, I'm Ferdi Salvador. Join us in unlocking the tricks of the trade here on Trade Talks. Let's get down to business. Everyone knows age doesn't matter, but we're not talking about love, we're talking about business. Case in point, Angely Dub, who established Access Travel PH at the age of 19. It's a premium travel company known for creating curated and personalized journeys that go beyond the usual luxury packages. Let's find out about her business. World traveler Angely Dub join us in the studio. Good morning, Angely.
Good morning, Ferdi.
I'm so glad that you're here because not that you're only famous. Everybody knows you. Like you said, even tricycle drivers say your name when they see you. But I want to get deep down into your journey as Angely Dub and how you got to where you are at the moment. So let's talk about that journey when you got to Manila and decided, hey, maybe I'm going to be an entrepreneur.
Well, when we're young, we don't know what's going on. And seeing my dad died when I was 13. When people ask me, how did you land this life? Honestly, I always looked at life backwards. What's one thing that I don't want to happen to me?
Okay.
So I take my life that way. Because normally we are taught, look at life in the nicest way possible. I want to be this, I want to be that. So there are days you become lazy because you don't see the progress.
Right.
So I started to look at life, the worst that could happen to me. Like not have money, end up being, not having anything in life.
So you freaked yourself out first
Yes.
to prep you for success.
Because you wake up every day. If you take life that way, oh my God, like I don't want that for myself. Let's go. But sometimes when you're too positive about everything, there are lazy days like, oh, I'm not seeing a progress, so I'm not gonna do it, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. So I take my life that way.
Okay, of course, among your parents, who is your greatest business influence?
I think both of them.
Okay.
Like how we say it in Tagalog, madiskarte.
Madiskarte.
My parents didn't have education.
Okay.
And my mom made sure that the three of us, the daughters, get the proper education. That's why even I never wanted to study. I finished my master's because I knew that would make my mom really proud. So I went to Spain to study master's. Even every day was a hell, studying 7 to 5. I was like, this is not for me. I finished it.
What was your parents doing, like Mandiscarte? What were their jobs or their business?
I think my mom did everything in her power, in palengke, supplying vegetables, to getting basura, the scrap from EBSA, everything you
Okay.
can think of. Because as I've said, my mom didn't have the proper education. And she didn't even finish high school. So up to this day, I tell her, can you please finish her school?
That's amazing. So because of her entrepreneurial spirit, education actually took a second seat.
Yes.
So, but of course, she wanted you to be, as any parent would, want you to be better, in life than your parents. What was the greatest things that they both taught you, your father, that made you Angely Dub?
When talking about my father, I feel so emotional. So my dad was a very good person, but he was naive. So I told myself, like all along, I'm never gonna be like that.
Okay.
In Tagalog, uto-uto.
Okay.
He was that kind of man. So that's why people ask me, oh, why are you so strong? Why you always doubt people? Why you don't trust people immediately? The world is a good place. The world is nice. People are nice, but there are also bad people. I think when we learn that, life becomes a little bit easier. You cannot just trust people easily. That's the one mistake my dad did. He trusted everybody like that. And now my brother is making the same mistakes.
Oh, you just called out your brother. You just threw shit at your brother.
So,
but I'm sure he's gonna do well.
Yes.
Okay, and then your mother.
So with my mom naman, parang my mom is a good person, but with a little bit of twist. She understands, okay, this is good, this is bad. So that's what I've gotten from my parents, you know. With my mom, now she's like my best friend. She tells me the things that I'm not doing good, and I tell her, Mom, that's not good. Don't do that. Don't become like this. Don't become like that. So my relationship with my mom is more of like a friendship. And that's one of the biggest blessings that I will never take for granted. Because when your parents become your friends, or your relationship is like, you know, being friends with them, it's just a gift that I value and cherish. I can talk to my mom about everything.
But obviously, you're not destitute. I mean, your mother has afforded you to go to a very good private school, and eventually head to the U.S. to do further education and exposure. So you went to Maine.
Bar Harbor, yes.
Bar Harbor to work in hospitality, which is basically your major before taking your master's. How was that experience?
Very, very unforgettable and eye-opening as well, because I was able to do the check-in of President Obama.
Wow.
The first family. I will never forget that experience, but I've also learned that the world tells you to shut your mouth. You're not allowed to talk because you're young. But at home, we were taught, speak up, you know, tell people how you feel about things. Then it was confusion for me all along, like, really, it's this different? You know, when you're 19, you don't know what's going on, or when you're 18. It was very, very confusing for me because my mom always empowered us to speak up, you know, to always stand up for ourselves.
Did you feel stifled in that?
I felt suffocated.
Yeah. Did you think it was the corporate world that did that for you? Or to you, rather?
I think, you know, being an Asian, being young, and I was in the US, Bar Harbor, with all these people, that made me feel like I don't want to be here. I don't want this for me.
Okay.
I want a bigger world for me. I know a lot of people don't believe in destiny, you know, gut feeling. I just knew something, you know, inside
was
me.
there for that's going to be big.
Yes.
You're going to be huge.
Or maybe it was my mom. That's how she raised me. Like, oh, you are not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. You're meant to do bigger things, nicer things. So I think sometimes it also starts at home.
Right.
You know how we are raised by our
Right.
parents.
So you then moved from Bal Harbor back to the Philippines at the age of 18, right? Then you started your mega business at 19. What were the early signs of, wait a minute, did I make a mistake? Did I get uto?
Uto is the perfect term.
Yeah.
Okay, so I asked help from my professor from college, and things did not turn out
The way
how
you wanted.
we
So
thought.
the fairy tale wasn't a fairy tale.
No.
It was a horror show.
Yes.
Okay.
Because what do you know at the age of 20, 19 about business? It was my first job officially, like first job. Then biglang may loko. I felt like, oh my God, my world just like crashed.
Because you bought into a company
Yes.
that you didn't
Because I saved up from my
but you
internship.
didn't realize that, you know, you didn't do your due diligence basically.
Yes.
Which is
We did not know how to research,
Yeah.
how to background check. My mom didn't know. I didn't know. I was just this girl who was excited to be a businesswoman. I was like, oh my God, my life is all set. We're ready. I'm ready. I'm successful. Then after 2 years, I realized, nope, I wasn't. Like, it was just the start of everything.
So that 24 months was the struggle.
Yes.
Okay, no customers.
I mean, we had from the, story is.
Yeah, what was the business model in the beginning?
Okay, the story is I asked my professor, like, hey, can you help me with my business? I want to start a travel company. He said, okay, there's this person who's selling the permits. Maybe you can just take over and talk to her how to make things work. So we finally did. We signed the contracts. We paid her money that I earned from the US. And my mom supported me. I will always credit my parents.
Yes.
Because my parents did a good job despite not having education. Because some people, I hear from some people that I'm not really self-made because I had the help of my parents.
I highly discount that.
Right? So I will never discredit my parents to be called self-made.
Right.
I don't even care about the labels, you know. My mom is
The
always...
important thing is you're made. That's
Yes,
what-
exactly. So yes, we took over the company. Then things were great in the beginning. Then I started to
Business
learn.
was flowing.
Yes, and the clients were corporate.
Okay, all right.
So they had credit terms, you know, 60 days, 90 days, and I didn't know how these things
worked.
worked. I
Right.
was like, okay, what's going on? I thought in
Were you
business.
paid by some of the companies?
Yes, we had to shell out a lot of money. I would borrow from my mom. I would borrow from my friends because the companies don't pay you on time.
Yes.
And it was my first time to hear the words credit terms.
Uh-huh.
You know, I was like, wait, things work that way? People don't pay you for the services? So I started to learn the business. Then I finally learned about the taxation, and it was bad.
Yes.
Then
The administrative stuff, the messy stuff.
so we were sold the dream,
Okay.
but there was no dream.
Okay, and then how did you create the dream for yourself?
Okay, so I'm gonna mention a name. I will be forever grateful to Lorene Uy.
Okay.
Because I used to work with her a lot since I was
Lovely
16.
lady, yes.
And for my online businesses, I used to have a clothing shop on Multiply Day, so funny.
Yes.
So I would send her stuff, and I decided to do an experiment with travel. Like, what if I do what I do with my travel, what I do with my clothing business to travel?
Uh-huh.
Like, what if we do the same thing? So I told Lorene, I have 70,000 pesos left. Can I experiment, like you go to Malaysia with this last money that I have left? She agreed, and she flew to Malaysia with some of her friends. They posted about us on Instagram. Since that day up to today, I don't know what happened.
Right, because the funny thing about it is during, well, my generation, well, I'm actually going to say it, my generation, but it's true because my age bracket, my generation are used to travel agents. We're the last ones that, you know, that still actively use travel agents. Your generation at the 30s, you are mostly online and doing your own research and booking your own travel experiences. How did you manage from Lorene and that generation to be able to get those clients back into the travel agent, services and scenario?
Ferdi, I believe in business, somebody needs to start something because at the end of the day, consumers follow what's introduced by the business owners.
Right.
You know, you introduce this thing, you will create, cloud is not the right word. You will create people who will buy the products. You know, it's always the entrepreneurs who introduce the idea. You know, I learned in my master's that I still carry the lesson up to this day. There is so much space for innovation, even you have 10,000 competitors.
I like that. But I'm gonna hold you to that. We're gonna take a breather. Trade Talks will be right back. Welcome back to Trade Talks. We continue our journey with Access Travel PH founder Angely Dub. So before we took the break, we're talking about, you know, having to bring back the new generation into the travel agency world. And you said that there's the space about and that you learned from your masters. So can you continue?
Like, I started building everything, probably I was 21. We used the power of social media because I learned people were not using it enough.
Okay.
And that was the beginning of everything.
Okay.
I've been on Instagram since 2011.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine? I've seen
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Changing of the platforms, buttons, everything on the app, I've seen it. So when, and there were no words like content creators that time, content, no, but we were already posting, building, so we've seen it, you know, and I think that's our power, that we've been here for a very long period of time.
All right. So, Angely, I know you're a travel agency. So, Access Travel sells travel, but what makes you unique?
I think I say this with so much pride because we put so much work and effort into it, and of course my youth as well. We've been everywhere.
Okay.
I've been
Yeah,
to
100 countries plus.
We've been to 152 now.
152.
You know, like, and it was basically my whole life, you know, and that's what you put the amount of work when you're building a legacy. And for me, my Access Travel is not just a business. It's like my whole life has been here, you know?
Right. So a lot of people say they sell experiences. A lot of hotels say this. A lot of wellness places say that. A lot of restaurants say that. Are you actually selling experiences?
Experiences, relationships, and stories that
Right.
people tell, you know, till their grandchildren. It's not just like selling things. I think in the world of AI, I've also said this when we opened our Access concert in Rockwell last September 14. In the world of AI, human touch will thrive because it will become a luxury.
Yes.
You know, especially in the Philippines. We talk about AI a lot, but I think Filipinos are not yet ready. You know, Filipinos still want to have a conversation, to still call. I think it's not just Filipinos.
If you were to change the word experience to describe your services or your products, what word would you use?
Storytelling?
Storytelling.
Yes, it's
So
cheesy, but
So you sell storytelling.
yes. I think every trip I go to has a story. It's not just like I went, you know, some destinations I was brokenhearted, I created better content, some I was with my friends, some I was with my family. So I think every destination has a story to tell.
What about, let's go down to a little bit more of the business. What do your customers look for now? Do they look for luxury travel, or they just look for, you know, the cheapest or the best packages for them to backpack around?
Yes, I'll be very honest. I think we have a bit of everything.
Okay.
Because we are selling a dream.
Okay.
I can't say, oh, my market is just market A. I think on daily basis, we get inquiries from dreamers. They really tell us, it's my dream to travel with Access.
I love that. So you've got a category. Okay.
Yes.
Guys, we've got a dreamer client. Okay, that's cool.
Yes, and we keep them on the side. We just don't shut them down, you know?
Yeah.
Like, okay, we'll send you. This is how you need to prepare, what you need to prepare. So then the next are the sure travelers.
Okay.
They are ready to go next week. Oh, we have a visa. Can you plan this?
Yes.
We just want to have a good time.
Right.
You know, and other categories are like they want to travel with Access, but in groups, small groups. So we do have groups because me as an entrepreneur, I like listening to people. Because what's the essence of being an entrepreneur if you're not listening to people? What's the essence of creating all these things if you're not listening to your buyers, right? So we created small groups of 12 people. So people join those to Morocco, Holy Land.
Do you go with them?
I used to go because, you know, in the beginning when you're starting, you have to create like, you know, marketing strategies.
Right.
But I stopped last year.
Yeah, because a lot of the people that you know access your services are of a certain age, and you know they're pretty woke. That's what they call it, your generation. Do you think that sustainability and luxury can coexist?
I've also learned in Masters there are 4 types of sustainability.
Okay.
So it's not just like, you know, environmental, social, cultural, what else? Environmental and economic.
Okay.
So there are 4. So I don't think travel can tap everything, but we can try our best to try to tap even 2.
Okay.
Cultural and social.
Social.
Because at the end of the day, you cannot make it sustainable environmentally. Because you fly.
Yeah. I mean, you can't say you're zero carbon emission because
Exactly.
the moment you step on a plane, that's it. I mean, my carbon footprint and your carbon footprint, I'm sure will be the worst ever that's been logged, right? But what about a trend, a travel trend that no matter how popular, you'll never sell?
I think I am not open to do like 15 countries or this amount of countries in this XX days. I think it's very tiring. I think it's not aligned with my vision because when I travel, let's say I went to Tanzania, I was there for almost 14 days. That's how I want to travel. That's the story I want to tell. So I'm never gonna do like, oh, 1 week, 5 countries just for the sake of ticking off. I'm not saying I didn't do that. I did that when I was younger. I was very hungry. I wanted to go everywhere, and I was just traveling for the sake of, ticking off my list. But now, as I've matured, I'm never gonna jump on that. I'm never gonna do that, and I will not let our clients do that.
What about, of course, like for example, Africa, Turkey, Europe, the US? Those are beautiful places to go to. But for the dreamers or those who haven't really experienced travel much, where would you ask them or where would you direct them to go?
I think I want to introduce the underrated destinations. You can relate to this as a fellow traveler. People still find excitement in the usual places. That's why I always tell people, let's say Europe is very big. I'm not telling the first-time travelers to go to Albania. They will kill me. Like, why did you send us to Albania?
No, but I asked you because, it's the places, like for example, Italy, Spain, those are beautiful places to go to, but they're more accessible
Yes.
now than ever before. But that's why as a travel experience, where would you tell them to go? Like for example, Albania, they'll probably only go, they've never thought about it, but that's one place they'll go to once and never go back again. That's the experience I was asking about.
Yes, exactly. So I think for first-time travelers, they can start with the usual ones. But if you've been into traveling, let's say for 5 years now, you've been to a lot of places, I think the world is so big to always just go to the same places. If Africa, now I'm planning a trip to Namibia, Angola.
I'm going with you.
Senegal.
I'm going with you. What's
right? Like Central Asia, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan.
The Stan states.
Yes, the world is so big. That's why at Access I believe that one destination, it's not for everybody. One formula doesn't apply to all, right? You know that as a traveler. That's why we love to customize. And I told you earlier, like your itinerary is only for you.
Right. Do you like to travel alone or with groups?
It depends. When I was younger, I really wanted to be alone. But now, I'm 34. I really want to spend more time with my family, with my friends. And I think why I loved to travel alone was because I had a gap. My friends were in the corporate world.
Right.
They were building their careers. I was in the business. I had more freedom, time freedom. So now they've established themselves and they have businesses. So I think it's easier now to match your schedules.
Right. In 10 years, when you hear Access Travel, what do you want people to say about your company?
I think I want people to think of travel as an investment. I think that's one thing a lot of people don't do. They think traveling is just going there and just taking photos and come back home. I think life itself is already stressful.
Right.
But if you look at travel like an escape.
Will you still be in the travel world in 10 years?
Can I be honest?
Yes.
I'm tired. This is coming from a privilege. And when we were talking about my interview, I told you, I want to be honest. I'm tired. I've seen a lot. I know there's still a lot to see, but I'm at the stage of my life, I'm looking at different things.
Right. Who do you want to turn over the business to?
My people are already in charge. They are going with the clients.
So you've empowered them.
Yes.
You gave them a voice that you didn't have when you were 19.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, and I think the beauty of business and just being a human being is we need to be honest with ourselves.
Right.
The things that I felt within me when I was 20s, I don't feel those things anymore. As a woman in my 30s.
Right. Last 3 questions for you, Angely. What was your worst investment?
In life or in business?
Both.
I think investing in people is very expensive when you invest in wrong people, in business or in life. Because the longer you stay, the longer it takes you to find the right people.
What about your best investment?
People as well. When you invest in the right people, they really stay. Because no matter how good I am, how intelligent I am, how hardworking I am, I can't execute anything without people.
And your favorite mistake?
Aww.
What is your favorite mistake?
I think Personal or business?
Both?
Both. Business, probably, I'm a risk taker. I'm not scared in business. What's the worst that could happen? I fail, and so you start all over again. In life, I'm not scared to fall in love. Even I have to fall in love 100 times. It's the same.
You
know?
are a romantic.
Yes, I'm very romantic. Like, even I know things will not work out, I still fall in love with the man. What's the worst that could happen? He says no, I dump him, or he dumps me, and so then we move on.
Wow, I can see your own farm in 10 years from now. You're living in your own island.
Yes,
I think,
that's what I want.
Oh my gosh.
Living in a farm with my dogs.
I love that. All right, thank you so much for letting
you.
us chat with you this morning. I've learned a lot from you, and even if you're much younger than I am. But thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing the world through your eyes.
Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
It's an honor to be
It's
here.
my honor. Thank you. And that is it for today's show. I'm Ferdi Salvador. Catch the Bilyonaryo News channel on Free TV Channel 31 and on cable via Cignal Channel 24. Thanks for watching the Bilyonaryo News channel. Always on top.